In the still waters of the Taiwan Strait, two shadows glide across the horizon, carrying with them the flags of two of the world's oldest allies, the United States and the United Kingdom. It is the morning of September 12, 2025. The USS Higgins and HMS Richmond begin their silent voyage through one of the most politically charged waterways on Earth. The world watches closely, as the delicate balance of power in East Asia trembles once again. For decades, this narrow body of water between Taiwan and mainland China has been a symbol of tension, sovereignty, and defiance. It is not just a stretch of ocean, it is a line that separates two worlds, two systems, and two ideologies. Every radar pulse, every course adjustment, and every communication signal carries meaning, and behind every movement lies strategy, politics, and fear. As the sun rises over the Western Pacific, the Allied ships begin their steady course. Officially, it is called a freedom of navigation operation, a statement that international waters must remain open to all nations. Washington and London say the passage is routine, a simple transit through international waters, nothing more. But in Beijing, it is seen differently. To China, this act is a direct challenge to its sovereignty, a provocation that cannot go unanswered. Within minutes of the Allied ships entering the strait, orders echo across Chinese naval bases along the coast. The Southern Theater Command activates its tracking units. 3 Chinese warships are dispatched to shadow the foreign vessels. Overhead, patrol aircraft from Fujian province begin to circle. On board the USS Higgins, radar screens flicker as contacts appear along the edge of detection range. The crew remains calm, their voices steady, their movements precise, yet beneath that calm lies the unspoken tension of a potential confrontation. The strait itself, only about 180 kilometers wide, has long been the stage for geopolitical power plays. But this time, the world feels closer to the edge than ever before. Both sides have modernized their fleets. Both have satellites watching every move. And both know that even a single miscalculation could trigger an escalation neither side truly wants. In Washington, press briefings emphasize the routine nature of the operation. This is a lawful transit through international waters, a Pentagon spokesperson says. The United States will continue to operate wherever international law allows. Across the Atlantic, London's Ministry of Defense issues a similar statement, calling it a demonstration of a free and open Indo-Pacific. But in Beijing, the reaction is sharp and immediate. The Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs declares that the ships have entered what it calls Chinese sovereign waters, and that the act sends a wrong signal to separatist forces in Taiwan. The message spreads across international media within hours. Analysts debate what it means, whether it's another show of power or a precursor to something far more dangerous. In the Taiwan Strait, every word matters, and every move is scrutinized. The commanders aboard the Higgins and the Richmond know this. Their orders are clear: maintain course, stay calm, and avoid escalation. But that is easier said than done when you can see Chinese warships appearing on the horizon. Through the binoculars of the watch officers, the gray shapes of Chinese vessels begin to emerge, gliding silently across the waves. A message crackles over the radio, its tone firm but controlled. Unidentified vessel, this is the Chinese Navy. You are entering restricted waters. Leave immediately or face consequences. The reply from the USS Higgins is calm, rehearsed, and unwavering. This is USS Higgins conducting lawful transit through international waters. In accordance with international law, the air between them grows heavy. No weapons are armed, but every system is ready. The tension is real, the silence deafening. For the sailors on both sides, it is a moment they will never forget. Hours pass as the ships maintain their distance, shadowing each other through the narrow channel. Surveillance drones buzz overhead. Satellite feeds transmit every detail back to command centers thousands of miles away. To the untrained eye, it looks like nothing more than ships passing through the sea. But beneath the surface, it is a chess match, a struggle for dominance in a region where one wrong move could rewrite history. To truly understand why this simple voyage matters, one must look back in time. After the Second World War, Taiwan became the last stronghold of China's nationalist government. When the Communists took control of the mainland in 1949, the defeated forces fled to the island, establishing the Republic of China. Since then, Taiwan has evolved into a thriving democracy, independent in every way except in name. But Beijing has never accepted this reality. To China, Taiwan remains a province waiting for reunification, peacefully if possible, by force if necessary. For the West, Taiwan represents something entirely different. It is the front line of democracy in Asia, a beacon of freedom standing just across from an authoritarian giant. To lose Taiwan, many analysts say, would be to lose the balance of power in the Indo-Pacific. That is why every U.S. operation near the island, every statement of support, and every naval movement in the strait becomes a symbol of commitment and defiance. By 2025, the region has changed. China's navy, once coastal and limited, is now the largest in the world. Massive aircraft carriers like the Shandong and Fujian dominate the seas. Hypersonic missiles and AI-driven surveillance systems give China unprecedented control of its near waters. The U.S. Navy, though still powerful, faces new challenges. Every voyage is a test of technology, of patience, and of will. The presence of the British HMS Richmond alongside the Americans is no coincidence. It is a reminder that old alliances still hold strong in the face of new adversaries. As the day continues, the USS Higgins and HMS Richmond hold their course. The Chinese vessels mirror their movements, never straying too far, never getting too close. Onshore, radar operators watch their screens carefully, reporting every adjustment in bearing, every change in speed. On social media, hashtags begin to trend. Hashtag Taiwan Strait, hashtag US Navy, hashtag China. People around the world refresh their news feeds, fearing that the next headline might read, "Incident in the Taiwan Strait." But no shots are fired. No collision occurs. Instead, the tension stretches like a wire, thin, invisible, but ready to snap at any second. Diplomats in Beijing, Washington, and London exchange quiet messages behind closed doors. Each side insists it is acting responsibly. Each side accuses the other of provocation. And yet, beneath all the words, lies the shared understanding that the strait has become a mirror of global division, democracy on one side, authoritarianism on the other, both unwilling to yield. For the sailors aboard the Allied ships, the experience is surreal. The vast sea looks peaceful, the sun glints off the surface, and yet they know that just over the horizon are weapons capable of unimaginable destruction. Every radar beep feels louder. Every radio silence feels longer. They are professionals, trained to stay composed, but they are also human, aware that history sometimes turns in the quietest of moments. In Beijing, military analysts interpret the passage as a deliberate message from the West. On state television, experts discuss foreign interference and defense of national sovereignty. The government vows to remain vigilant. The People's Liberation Army will stay on high alert, a spokesperson declares, his voice calm but firm. China will resolutely defend its territorial integrity. Across the sea, Western analysts interpret the same event differently, as a reaffirmation of international law, a necessary act to prevent unilateral control of international waters. Both narratives cannot be true at once, yet both define the worldviews of their nations. Behind the scenes, intelligence networks buzz with activity. Satellites record the movements of every vessel, drones fly covert missions, and digital warfare specialists monitor data links for interference. In the cyber realm, invisible battles unfold. Propaganda spreads across social platforms. Some accounts claim that Chinese ships surrounded the Western vessels, others say the U.S. Navy forced China to back off. In truth, neither extreme is accurate. What actually happened was far simpler, and far more dangerous. Both sides performed their roles perfectly, showing strength without crossing the line into war. In Taipei, the government issues a measured statement, expressing appreciation for the continued international support for peace and stability in the region. Yet beneath the diplomatic language, officials understand the deeper meaning. Taiwan lives under constant pressure, and every show of force, whether by China or its allies, is a reminder of how fragile its security truly is. In the streets of Taipei, people go about their day, seemingly untouched by the geopolitics surrounding them, yet aware that their island remains at the center of the world's most dangerous standoff. Night falls over the strait. The ships continue their journey, illuminated only by faint navigation lights. The water is calm, the sky clear, and the horizon dark. In the quiet of the command bridge, officers glance at the radar screen. The Chinese ships are still there, maintaining a respectful but unmistakable distance. It is a strange kind of peace, not the peace of friendship, but the peace of mutual understanding. Both sides know what war would cost. Both know that this moment, this night, could so easily have become something else. When the Allied ships finally exit the strait, the world exhales. The mission is declared complete. The Pentagon releases a brief statement. USS Higgins and HMS Richmond conducted a routine transit through the Taiwan Strait, demonstrating the commitment of the United States and the United Kingdom to freedom of navigation and international law. Beijing, in turn, issues its own declaration, condemning the passage and warning of serious consequences for future provocations. The cycle continues, statements, denials, warnings, all part of a ritual that has come to define modern geopolitics. But behind the diplomacy and the rhetoric lies a deeper truth. The world is changing. The seas that once divided nations now connect them in competition. Technology, trade, and ideology have made every region a global stage. The Taiwan Strait, narrow as it may be, represents the crossroads of this new era, where superpowers test not only their strength, but their restraint. The story of the USS Higgins and HMS Richmond's passage will not be remembered for its violence, because there was none. It will be remembered for its silence. A silence that spoke louder than gunfire. A silence that carried the weight of history, the echo of rivalry, and the fragile hope of peace. For in that silence, the world was reminded how easily peace can slip away, and how vital it is to preserve it. As dawn rises again over the western Pacific, the waves erase the tracks left by the ships. The ocean returns to calm, indifferent to the tensions that ripple above it. But somewhere beyond the horizon, radars still scan, satellites still watch, and leaders still plan. The strait may seem quiet, but the world knows better. Beneath the stillness lies the heartbeat of a conflict yet to come, one that could decide not just the fate of Taiwan, but the future of global order itself. In that vast expanse of sea, two ships passed through a corridor of history. They carried more than steel and sailors. They carried the weight of nations, the pride of alliances, and the unspoken message that peace, like the ocean, is vast yet fragile. And though the world avoided war that day, it learned once again that the line between calm and chaos can be as thin as a horizon.